Now the Austin Major is officially finished, and inside of that we have Vitality winning once again a very prominent major. However, they defeated Mongols, which has some pretty massive market impacts we'll talk about in a quick second. Biggest thing I want to break down, first up we got the Champions capsule coming out, and if it's not already by the time you're watching this video, it is very important you realize this is not a good investment opportunity. These are extremely bad when it comes to long-term projections on their future value. I would personally avoid it, but we got the 75% off sale, which brings some pretty massive impacts along with it. First up, all of the ROIs are going to 4x on these capsules. Now, if you want to look at the ROIs right now, they are not the strongest. That's actually not too uncommon inside of this area. Remember, you will have to wait a week before you can sell any stickers you unbox, so those ROIs can drop at any time, making this a little bit of a risky area. However, it is still, once again, a profit opportunity if you're there early enough. We're now also entering into the player break, where it's very strong that Valve is going to be making some possibilities around this area, whether it's to weapons, whether it's to maps. We can see all of the final data right here. We can see there's definitely some things that potentially could change for the maps. We've got overpass, we've got potentially cash. We had a lot of maps that could be coming in, and remember, you've got your souvenir tokens. I would not redeem them just yet. You're going to have a long time to redeem these once again. Remember how long that sale lasts. These items are going to be in the shop for a very long period of time. Skinland is today's sponsor, and they're also sponsoring you with a free $10 on your first trade. It's where I personally sell my skins because you're going to be getting the highest rate out there. They're offering a maximum amount of money in a minimum amount of time, and it's going to be nearly instant with tons of different payout options. Combine that with their massive marketplace where you're going to be able to buy anything in the entire game you're looking for, with a ton of different deposit options here as well. Right now, this is the #1 place to go ahead and sell or buy skins in my personal opinion, so go ahead, use code MasterShiny and check them out today. Now, outside of the Austin Major, there's been one area I've really been watching very frequently. That's going to be the case unboxing market when we're looking at the cheaper rare cases. We'll get to the case unboxing numbers in a quick second, but the Danger Zone case is finally on the edge of potentially breaking through that $2 price point. It's really been pushing. It's absolutely insane what we're seeing inside this area for the most part. A lot of these are really desirable cases, these cheaper rare cases, and they're stagnant. That's the best thing about this right now, is we're seeing prices all across the board fluctuate a lot, except for the cheaper rare cases. They are very stable and they're very stagnant, which is very desirable considering a lot of people thought they were going to be losing all this progress they have recently made. It's a very strong understanding to realize that these cases are in a very desirable situation, and honestly, I don't think we're going to be seeing too much changing up from this moving forward. I really like what we're seeing for the cheaper rare cases, and the more expensive ones as well are still in a very desirable position. They're just obviously a little bit more expensive, which means you need a lot more budget to put towards a strong investment if you're trying to make those ones. But the cheaper rare cases right now, your snakebite, your clutch overall, are sitting in a very perfect position in my honest opinion. Now, breaking down everything for an Austin Major investment, we've got a lot of different interesting areas, but I first want to focus in on our Legend sticker capsule. That's because it had our 2 finalist teams inside of it. We've got Team Vitality, which has been leading this capsule and dominating throughout the entire piece. However, then we've got the Mongols, which is very interesting because Mongols is traditionally one of the worst teams to have in your capsule. If you look at my video from the first of this Austin Major, I said this capsule was great other than the Mongols inside of it because they have traditionally been the worst team. We can look at previous data and see that exactly. However, the fact that they made it so far actually possesses a really interesting opportunity. We've never seen a team like this where it's such a bad and just basically dangerous situation to invest into a sticker actually end up so far. So it's going to be very interesting moving forward. If Mongols is actually in a very strong position, this capsule is definitely high up on my list because we've got Aurora and we've got 6 other super strong teams here. It's very interesting. It's definitely going to be one I'm keeping my eye on. However, the ROI is just abysmal right now, so very obviously do not invest into it just yet. Now, talking about other potential Austin Major investments, first up we got the other 2 capsules and the autograph capsules. Talking about your autograph capsules, we've got some of the worst ROIs we've seen in a long time. 25%, 17%, and 16%, and this is not even at a $1 price point. This is at a 53-cent price point, a 63-cent price point, and a 72-cent price point, meaning that these are so much worse than they actually seem, and this is why I highly suggest people really avoid the autograph capsules, especially in the early stages, but just overall, they don't really garner enough interest for the value of them to actually go up over time. It's why we see autograph capsules traditionally as one of the cheapest when we're talking about any major capsule. Talking about our challengers and our contenders here, there is a lot of potential in my honest opinion. It really comes down to what we're going to be seeing at the sale. Are we going to be seeing a lot of people really interested in Tyloo and Lin Vision? If so, the contenders capsule definitely has a strong path. If we see that the Falcons and FaZe stickers start to go back up in value again, then the challengers is going to be having a strong path moving forward. I will definitely say, do not invest into any of these when the sale hits, when the sale drops, or anything like that. There is a long time for these capsules, and honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to be making a major investment, because if we want to look at the previous ones, they have not panned out the strongest. Now, checking out everything for the Armory, nothing really major has happened inside of this area other than the ROIs just going down once again. It seems like we've reached our really big point of where everything is going to be sitting at for the near future. The Sport and Field is interestingly the most expensive out of all of the collections when it comes comes to average value or the unboxing ROI, as you see right here. Very interesting, but honestly not too big of a surprise that none of these items are really hugely profitable anymore. I will say the Fever and the Gallery case are definitely going to be the most interesting areas to watch moving forward, other than obviously those character and elemental sticker crafts, which are still very high up on my list, but obviously they're still actively dropping, and we know there is millions of them out there, so we can't make an investment just yet. Now, there's one area we've been seeing a huge opportunity with right now, and it's filler skins, but we're not going to be talking about those train light blue filler skins that we talked about a lot. Instead, we're going to be focusing in on the other collections. That's because these other collections have really been popping off in a couple specific areas. Obviously, these ones are really catered towards the blue filler skins. Obviously, those are the ones that are also not fully discontinued, as we've got two collections that are still actively dropping them, but they still are a very strong investment potential depending on what you get into. However, there is one area that's really been popping off. That's going to be those blue filler skins that actually look good as play skins. We're talking about our Glock Candy Apple. We're talking about a lot of different ones inside this area. Honestly, it's a huge potential that really is starting to get tapped into right now. We're not late to the game. We're just starting to get into the game for these ones, and I think it's a huge opportunity. We can look at the Acid Fade, which is already up a quite significant amount. We can see that people are really interested in these collection skins, and honestly, if we can double them as a filler skin, get them at a reasonable price, that is a huge opportunity that not a lot of people are really looking at right now. Now, with everything going on for the Austin Major, one area that's really important to watch is going to be these currency exchange rates. We talked about it in a previous video, but there is a huge opportunity when Valve screws up with these exchange rates that you could make it or lose a lot of money. And honestly, it's something right now that has not had too big of an impact. We're seeing the normal range, which is a potential 10% increase or 10% decrease on the price that you end up paying just because of the way things work out. And that 75% off sale comes if these are not fixed. They usually get extrapolated out, and it could be potentially a 15% difference if the currencies are actively changing and Valve really does not decide to do anything against it. We've seen this happen in the past, which is why some majors have ended up with a lot more supply just because people are reselling them for profit on their specific currencies. Sometimes it does happen. Then also coming up, we got that Steam Summer Sale. Once again, this is not something that plays a really major impact inside of today's market, but if you're looking for some play skins, it could be an opportunity depending on what price point you're really looking at. This is definitely going to be favoring those cheaper end ones. Anything $50 and above is honestly not going to be really impacted, but if we do see some pretty nice games go on sale, it could be an opportunity for you to get in at a little bit of a cheaper price point, or these cases have now been impacted very slightly depending on which ones. Now, talking about what you should be watching right now, first up, we got that Austin Major, and that sale is going to be coming. We got the Champions Capsule potentially on the way, could be out by the time you're watching this, and then we got that 75% off sale, which there is some profit opportunities that always come along with this. Make sure you're very careful though. You got a 7-day cooldown. Otherwise, the rare case market is definitely something that seems to be heating up. I'm really liking where it's going, and we're definitely seeing very strong unboxing numbers, and most importantly, the filler skins right now is a huge opportunity because we're seeing a lot of the play skins aspect really leak into this, and that is a really untapped market. It's something that we haven't really seen, so it's definitely to watch. That's all I got. Thank you so much for giving me a great rest of your day.